Hello, everyone. Welcome to the episode 2 of the MAS scorecard, the Marketing Access Scorecard. Let me show up my screen so you can see my title page. Ta-da! Let me see, there it is. Okay, the MAS scorecard. So I'm really excited about doing this. I think this is sort of the culmination of my career. I've been working in marketing research for the Hispanic space for a very long time, since 1980. And in 1990, I started my own company called Garcia Research. And I've been doing a lot of different things, but finally this opportunity came to me and it was actually out of my crazy little head, that one. Uh, now you see why I wear the hat. Um, and the issue is there's so much more to be done, and it's not that hard to do. But we really want to try to help people achieve Hispanic and multicultural marketing excellence. When the whole process is seen all the way through, when people are respected and considered, it shouldn't be that hard, but it is. It's not easy. It's not easy when you're dealing with different cultures and different languages and different issues. So here we go. I wanted to give you a quick little recap of what the Marketing Access Scorecard is. It's an AI-led but human-driven process to triangulate the effectiveness of digital marketing aimed at specific markets. So we're using some AI, but frankly, anybody can do AI. It's way too easy to do these days, but we'll be still doing that to help guide us. And then we're doing some user experience, UX work. So what is it like for people to actually interface with your systems? And then mystery shopping. What's it like to buy something from you, to receive a package from you, to interact with you in any way, shape, or form, and receive any kind of service or attention? So what is that like? Does it work? Is it respectful? Is it inadequate? Are there holes in the process? And believe me, there are almost for almost everyone. And then we'll be doing focus groups, talking with real people, real live people across the country, and asking them about what's going on with them. And here's our goal. I'm going to stop sharing because I don't need to read all of this. But the idea is that we're hoping to do custom projects for clients who have specific issues and specific niches, and they want to know how is it going, what are they doing, and they're spending money on their digital marketing efforts, and is it effective? Is it not effective? It could be improved. Where are the problems? And we hope to pinpoint those and help clients really sort of improve their situations and improve their profits, improve their market share, improve everything for them, and also provide better service for the Hispanic consumers. So it's a win-win. It really is a win-win. And we want to be in the middle of that. We're certainly not here to criticize any agencies or digital agencies. We're very respectful of their work, and we know that they want to do things right too. And we want to help them and give them the ammunition to do their work even better because we know that they care about the quality of the work that they do. Um, and it's funny I told the story last week about um, my focus not on clients but on the client's clients. That is, say, the consumer. So so it's not we don't care about our clients. We really do care about our clients, but we care about our clients' clients, and that helps us take better care of our clients. So we have all this really interesting work that we're already doing, and we're learning a lot of really interesting things. But there's one little bit of some tidbits of data that I think will help reveal something about. Let me see, where is it? Oops, sorry. Here it is. Some of the things we're uncovering in our research already that I think this data helps support and explain. One is smartphone penetration. So Hispanics have always led on smartphone penetration since they were first introduced. Now that gap is very small. It's only 2 percentage points, probably within the margin of error. But still, Hispanics have at least 93% of Hispanics have access to a smartphone. So anything you do online that doesn't consider the smartphone is problematic because that's how people are going to, Hispanics in particular, are going to be accessing your information. And you see right below there, it says how people access the internet. 28% of Hispanics are what's called smartphone dependent. That is to say, their only access to the internet is through their phone. So this is disproportionately important to them. Um, that's 13% of non-whites, non-Hispanic whites. There's a big gap. And so Hispanics are much more dependent on their smartphones. And anything you do digitally that doesn't really consider the smartphone is unfortunate. You're missing out on a big chunk of the market. And this results in the online shopping data here we see Hispanics actually underperform on online shopping. If people don't make it really easy for them, if they don't really accommodate them, if they don't really appeal to them, there is this gap, 75 to 83%. That's we should be able to do something about that. We really should. We should be able to help Hispanics find what they need simply, clearly, cleanly, effectively, and at a fair price, et cetera. Excuse me. So, one particular category we've been studying, sort of stumbling into, because we've been studying various categories and revealing various issues in every category. But this one area we found is the people who are doing the best job about dealing with Hispanic space appear to be the diaper manufacturers. They know what's going on because look at the birth rate data. Hispanics are averaging around 82 births per 1,000 women versus non-Hispanic whites at 47. And the lifetime average is significantly higher. What's interesting is that gap has actually shrunk. Hispanics, once they get settled in the United States and deal with the economy here and the realities of raising children and how expensive it is in the United States, and how complicated it is in the United States, and how little support you have, um, the birth rate is actually dropping among Latinos. Um, a lot of Hispanic birth rate support comes from family. And if the families are broken apart or not right all together, that impacts on the birth rate because it becomes that much more difficult to have children without the support of your cousins and uncles and aunts and parents and grandparents to help you raise those children. But anyway, so the birth rate does reveal how important they the Hispanics are to specific categories, and one of them, the most notable, is diapers. So let me stop sharing again. Ta-da! I'm back. And you see, I wanted to talk about my the next audiences to explore. I mean, as it is, we're going through category to category to category, and very different situations. Automotive is different from healthcare, is different from CPG, is different from just about everything, and every category has its own little quirks. And did a study a long time ago about it was a for a an automotive what do you call it funding for car loans. Acceptance Corporation, that's what it was. It was an automotive loan company, and they didn't realize how many Hispanics they had in their database, how much of their market was Hispanic. They just didn't know. So I found a way to help them figure that out, and what they thought was like maybe 5, 6% turned out to be 20%. Wow. So they said, okay. So they hired me to go through and look at their process and see, go to their center, call center and operations center, and in another city. And I spent a week there going through everything, and it was really, really interesting because first of all, the Hispanic crew that they had were fantastic. The kids were great. They were really working hard, but the system wasn't set up right. And the system had all these holes. So a perfectly reasonable consumer would go up to a specific spot and then fall off a cliff because there was nothing there. And suddenly you find yourself having to deal with people who didn't understand you again. So that was very frustrating for them. It was certainly frustrating for the workers who would occasionally get the calls back, screaming and yelling because people were unhappy. We found some really specific issues that they were able to fix. And it involved extra training for the crews because there were some very specific things, situations and complications with late payments or whatever. But they were able to fix it all. So if you pay attention to this, it's fixable. It is fixable. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my bona fides. Why do I think that I can actually do this work? And I think it's really important and fun. Um, I stumbled into marketing research quite by accident, honestly. It was quite an accident. But to get there, I was born in East LA. My parents were both born in Mexico. I was raised in the barrio. I was basically raised in speaking Spanglish because people speaking Spanish wasn't chic back then. Being Latino wasn't even vaguely acceptable back then. It was just constantly being experiencing prejudice and discrimination and all sorts of unpleasant activities. And so it wasn't cool to be Latino. So my family was trying to cope, and my parents learned English, and my kids, my older brothers and sisters, all learned English. And but they got along, and there were five of us, not 10, five, just five. There were five of us, and we all five went to college. All five graduated from college, which is a pretty extraordinary thing. My father, with a third grade education, absolutely insisted that we all get to go to college. He knew that education was the key. So, but one thing that happened is because we were also poor, but we, getting living on scholarships and things. But I didn't have access to children's books. We didn't have access to children's books. We had my siblings and older brothers and sisters were in high school and college, and they brought their books home. So I was reading, Dostoevsky and Melville and To Kill a Mockingbird and Two Years Before the Mast and Crime and Punishment and all these very intense adult books that normally people read in college, and I was reading in grammar school because that's all that was around the house. And I was a bit, odd. I would, usually didn't play with the boys throwing rocks at each other. I was usually with the girls playing dolls. Um, and or if that, but or staying at home and reading. So this gave me some specific advantages of a stronger vocabulary, which means I tested well, which means I got scholarships, which was a very lucky thing to do. So I consider this a birth order effect. Um, and got a scholarship to Jesuit high school in Los Angeles called Loyola High School. Socially uncomfortable for me, as you can imagine, because I was gay, short, poor, Mexican. Everything about me was wrong in that context. But I still had some good friends, um, and I learned a lot. I was well prepared for college. I must say, I knew how to write a paper. I knew how to do insane amount of work. So which is all about what Pomona is all about, just an insane amount of work. But I got into Pomona College, which was the luckiest thing ever could possibly happen to me, and loved it, and loved all my friends there, and they're still part of my life. And so I got a Ford Foundation Fellowship to study, Ford Foundation Fellowship for Mexican Americans, actually, to go study comparative literature at Berkeley. And I did that, and I loved it, and I loved the literature, but I also realized that academic world really wasn't for me. So, but I did pass a master's degree, and I passed the permission to proceed to the PhD, which allowed me into the University of California Systems program in Paris for studying film and theater. And I was studying theatrical literature, 16th and 17th century theatrical literature. So that was really fun and interesting, but I realized I didn't want to do this for the rest of my life, not all the time. So I met a woman there. We had a baby. He's now in his late 40s, and he's wonderful, and he's a great dad. And we had two grandchildren, and pretty amazing turn of events. But anyway, we came back to the United States, struggled to find a job, got one, stumbled into a job in marketing research, loved it immediately. Thing about research is all about the details. And when my brothers and I would paint our house, my brothers would do the walls and I would paint the trim. So it was all about the details. So the details really fit into my personality, and I absolutely love research, and it's really interesting. And I love being there to fight for and give a voice to my community. And I think it's really important. And I've spent my whole life doing that. And it's actually been very rewarding, not necessarily financially, but certainly personally and intellectually. So I knew that I was very, very fortunate, and I knew I had to give back. I just felt it. So I've been very involved with my community. I was part of the Vicky Carr Scholarship Foundation board. I was board chair for a while. Vicky was really quite a character, really, really funny, interesting person. And obviously all the parents just worshiped her. But she and I clashed politically, but we got along for our mission, which was to help Latino students get a start. One of them was Hilda Solis, who became labor secretary. under the Obama administration and is now running for Congress again. So Hilda was one of the first people to get a scholarship from Vicky Carr. And I've also worked for a long, long time, on the board of the Valley Community Healthcare organization in San Fernando Valley in the LA area. And I wasn't actually living in the valley. I was working in the valley. I worked in Burbank, so I was felt involved, and they got me involved. I was on the board for 16 years. I was board chair for 2 years, and post chair for 2 years, and it was an incredibly rewarding experience, incredibly enriching and fascinating. Learned a lot about the healthcare delivery systems, about and I use my research skills to help them, communicate better with their Hispanic consumers and how to deal with people who don't show up for appointments and all sorts of interesting and complicated things in running a health center. But that was very satisfying. And we were in place to do a really good job when the ACA was voted in and we're able to roll out some serious healthcare services for large communities, large sections of our community that had no insurance at all. So, and who, I consider healthcare, access to healthcare a human right. And I was part of that, and I was very proud of that, and I'm still supporting them when I can. And I was also, done other things locally here in the Coachella Valley. I've done on an artist council, which is a group of artists, and they run a facility in Palm Desert, California, that's quite beautiful. And we help promote local artists, and it's working, and it's doing very well. I was board chair for a couple of years, and then I had the honor of my life, which was being appointed to the board of trustees of Pomona College, an insane honor, unbelievable. Like, think back to my sponsor group, all of my friends who were my freshman friends, and imagining of all the people in that group, the one person who would become a trustee was me. Pretty crazy. Never would have thought that, but it was really and still is the honor of my life, and it's a lot of work, a lot of responsibility. And so I really pulled back from all my other things. I dropped out of the city finance committee and the artist council and other things. I had to really clean things up so I would have plenty of time for my Pomona College responsibilities, which are really, really rewarding and daunting as well. Um, One of the things I've had the chance to do is teach at Cal Poly Pomona, which is the road, the freeway, I mean, the university across the freeway from Claremont, which is this very sort of wonderful little precious community. Well, Cal Poly is the real world, and that's where, kids who work full time and go to school full time and have families and responsibilities, and this is where they go. And this is a really different kind of an environment, but one where people are really doing great work. And in every class, there are kids that could be anywhere, at any university in the country. But they're there because for various reasons, personal circumstances. And so teaching them was really an honor and it was really interesting. And I'm still part of the board of advisors for the digital marketing and consumer insights division within the school and helping guide some graduate students who have picked up my project, the Marketing Access Scorecard, as their capstone project to help them lead me into kicking and screaming into the 21st century. I it's it's hard for people who are older. Um, and that leads me to the other thought I had about all the other groups that we could apply the same methodology to. And I hope my students may be able to help me eventually um, with this. But we know that there are other groups that need access, seniors, LGBTQ, African Americans, Asian Americans, people with disabilities, people with lower levels of education. All of these people are being reached indifferently or inadequately or inefficiently, and we could improve that for everybody. So it's all about letting us walk you through the experiences that your consumers are having. What is their life like? What is it like? So I'm kind of asking you to take off your shoes and imagine putting on somebody else's shoes and walking through this process. So we want to really walk you through this. So it's pretty exciting. We're really very thrilled about doing this and launching this project. I'm going to share my screen one more time to show you the this. So if you want to reach us, You can look for information at www.mascorecard.com. You can email us at comments@mascorecard.com. You can find my LinkedIn profile there. It's basically, C Garcia 9. And for custom projects, if you want us to help you work on your digital presence and for Hispanics, you can reach me at carlos.garcia@mascorecard.com, mascorecard.com. So that's basically the important stuff I wanted to share. We have next new episodes coming up. We're going to try to do this once a week. I'm going to be interviewing a lot of really interesting and brilliant people, and I'm really looking forward to it. We'll also be sharing some real data, and we have a lot of data to share, a lot of really interesting insights to share, because we're discovering a lot of really amazing things, like serious problems on some websites, serious patterns, certain categories that do a better job than others. I mentioned diapers being, like leading the way. And there are a few others that do a pretty good job, and then they drop the ball. And or they don't do the smartphone thing, or they don't do the app thing, or they don't do the proper, follow-up emails, or they don't do customer service, and then people have to deal with bots that don't speak Spanish very well, and all of that. So we will be all excited about showing you how to do this, and we will be presenting more and more information. So stay tuned and look forward to talking to you again. Thank you very much.